Today's show is sponsored by DraftKings Pick 6. Yeah, baby. We're talking about the top rated sportsbooking app in all of North America. Safe, secure, and of course, reliable, baby. And we know everybody's playing fantasy football, right? So why not get in on the fun or find ways to spice it up a little bit more? And that's what DraftKings Pick 6 is allowing you to do, baby. It's super easy, it's super simple, and a lot of fun. But just like with anything, if we're going to talk about it, you know I got a promo code for you, baby. So for all the new customers out there, when you first get that DraftKings Pick 6, and from there, you make your first bet, right? $5, okay, for your initial set, right? From there, you're going to get $50 in bonus bets, or in bonus picks, as long as you use the promo code Moats. So you see, it's a super simple concept, baby, all right? With your first pick set, $5, use promo code Moats, you get exactly what you're looking for in terms of $50 in bonus picks. So it is that simple, but at the same time, you might develop a gambling problem. You might need some help. And if you live in New York, you see the number that you can text. Shout out to New York. But for everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER. I had that moment, right? Everybody's down there and we're having those questions. Is today actually going to be the day? And what I mean is, are the Steelers going to show up and actually play like we would hope they could play, like we compensate these guys to play, or we're going to get the other iteration, right? The one that we saw on that Thursday night against the Cincinnati Bengals, who of course suck with Joe Flacco. Of course, they can't score any points with Joe Flacco. I know they only did that because it was us out there, but I digress. Then obviously we had the Green Bay game where it was like, dang, man, we can't stop nobody, man. 20 completions in a row, 19 completions in a row. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But then what? We finally get a chance for the guys to get locked in. And like we've been saying, this is the funniest thing. It's like, man, when the guys play up to their potential, none of the other nonsense matters. And what I mean by the nonsense is this, right? Going into the game, we were told our defense is so simple, right? Everybody knows what it is, right? Then even to the point where JJ Watt, shout out to JJ Watt. I heard this afterwards. He's like, yo, they even simplified it even more with the new additions on the back end. Shout out to Kyle Duggar, right? So I'm like, you mean to tell me we got the most simple, the most basic version of a defense, and we were doing that to that Colts team, man. 5 turnovers. Obviously, the 6th one was on special teams, but defensively forcing them to 5 turnovers, smashing the run game, right? 55 total rushing yards with Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line coming into the building, right? When we talk about that, we talk about Tyler Warren and what he was doing, how he was terrorizing defenses, right? And it's like, dude, you mean to tell me the super simple version with even more banged up pieces out there could do that? But then you look at the people that were out there and the people that were actually playing at a high level. And it was the defense, man. You talk about the defense, man, how they came out the gate. It's like, all right, cool. Even though Daniel Jones and that offense scored on the opening drive, it took them literally 8 plays within 5 yards, right? They had to go 4 plays to get the first down, then 4 more plays to get the touchdown. It's like, all right, we're not giving it up this time. Like, granted, they scored, but it just felt a little bit different from my eyes. But then you start to just watch, and it's like, okay, we obviously have our go for it on 4th down series on the opening drive. Didn't get it. I'm not tripping on the call. Me personally, I liked it. It's like, yo, if you know that this team is aggressive, you know this team can score averaging around 30 points a game, field goals aren't going to get it done today. So I didn't mind it. I actually enjoyed it. I'm like, you know what? Everybody criticizes Coach Thomas for being stuck in his ways, for being too conservative, for relying on an archaic mindset of defense. And it was like, dude, F that. Let's go for it, man. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm like, okay, Coach T, spice it up on me one time, man. And even though we didn't get it, the calculated part of it, and this is the other part when you're talking about Coach T, it's like, yo, he's not going to just be risky and janky just for the sake of being risky and janky. He's going to have a little bit of, I got something up my sleeve, and that is, yo, if we don't get it, they still got to go 97 yards. And why is that important? Shoot, we say if you make teams have to snap that ball 10, 12 times on the drive, the likelihood of them being perfect every single time. I mean, no drop passes, no blown assignments and blocking protection. Everybody holding on to the ball. It's just hard to do. And the more teams have to do that, the more they make mistakes. And we saw, even on that drive, they were having success. And what happens, man? TJ Watt. Finally, we got a chance to see the big kick. I was so hyped. I'm losing my mind in the stands. I'm like, yo, let's go, TJ. Ah! Yo, we needed it. It felt dang good to have that, right? Felt dang good to have that. But that's the guy, right? We talk about when we felt the shift in the stadium. That shift for certain happened on that play right there. From there, everybody around went from, oh man, is it about to be one of them weird games where the Colts whoop us because they had scored and opened the drive, stopped us, and then had that ball and was moving it again. You're like, oh, here we go. But to see that happen, man, and for it to be TJ specifically, it lit a fire in that stadium, man. Everybody starts to believe. And then from there, it's like, okay, we start to match that energy. And we start doing some more. And then when these turnovers start to come in, that's when games can get weird, right? Weird in our favor to the point that we were up, was it 24-7 at one point in the fourth quarter, which is like crazy when we were talking about the lead up to this game, right? Because we thought of their rushing attack, we thought of their passing attack, we thought of how they don't turn the ball over. They were +9 in the turnover margin coming into this game, how they only allowed 9 sacks all season. And then it's like, well, hold on, man. You know what? Let me just recollect on these numbers real quick. All right. So on momento, let me just see what we did real quick from a defensive standpoint, man. We had a lot of dudes hitting out there, man. We had a lot of dudes make some plays out here, man. Shout out to Peyton Wilson. Did he have a day, or did Peyton Wilson have a day? Can we hit the like button for Peyton Wilson? Can we subscribe for Peyton Wilson? Because he's come under fire multiple times, right? But you know, I still hold strong for my LBs. I believe in the guys because this is where the strength of our team is. This is where we put the most resources at, from draft capital to second contracts. And when these guys play like this is what gives us a chance to ride that wave, to create those turnovers, to create that splash. But 14 tackles, man, by Peyton Wilson was massive. Massive, man. We obviously know he has interception, and then he forced the second interception, right? The one for Jack Sawyer. But it's like, yo, this dude had a game, but it's not a 6th, 7th round draft pick. This is a high pedigree draft pick, man. We need that consistency. JPJ. Shout out to JPJ, right? We know he was matched with some dogs, right? Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, they was having some success on him, but he stayed in the fight. Stayed into the fight. And why was it important? Well, number one, he tackled well enough, right? 8 of them things, right? He also had a sack in this day. It was one of them janky, yo, if you come out of coverage and he runs out of bounds, just get over by him. You're the nearest man. Boom. Shout out to JJ Watt. He knew what it was. But the other thing was this, man, at the end of the game, get the pick, man. Get the pick. Close the door on these folks. Make your pop go crazy. Big pop inside the stadium, too. Like, that's what you want right there, man. But once again, it's high pedigree guy, right? When we talking about JPJ. So then from there, let's see, who do we have next, man? Who do we have next? Jalen Ramsey. Because obviously Brandon Echols was a free agent we added in. Still played extremely well, man, for us, whether you're talking about him coming in a coverage standpoint, or more importantly, how about the biggest play on special teams, him recovering the muffed punt, right? The more you can do. When we talk about this team, man, it's like, yo, we got our star players, but it's like, yo, if you're a mid-tier guy that we brought in through free agency, which Brandon Echols is, he's not making a ton of money, but he's not making vet minimum either. It's like, yo, how can you make plays? How can you help us out? He played well. Some people even want to play more. I don't hate that. Trust me, I don't. Jalen Ramsey, did he have a day, or did he have a day? I hated the flag they threw on him for bodying the man from the Colts. I hated that. I thought it was soft. I thought they threw the flag on the body and not on the actual hit. But you know how it goes. You play dead, you get away with it, man. All right, so he plays dead. He gets the call, such as life. But we needed him to play big. He played big, man. Not just from a physicality standpoint, but the pre-snap communication. That I was physically, like me in the stadium, I could watch him talking to Kyle Duggar pre-snap, dang near every snap, man, to let him know how we need to align this, what we're going to be showing, whether it was cover 2 or if it was cover 1. They would show 2 high, go to cover 1. They would show cover 1, roll it back to 2 high. It was super basic, super vanilla in terms of what they were doing post-snap, but the execution was high end and the pass rush showed up. When you have that small menu, big understanding, it works. And that's what this was. Now, Darius Slay, we know some people not going to like his day. I understand. All right. He was banged up. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. He was leaking a little oil out there. Okay. But what about Keanu Benton? How about Keanu Benton? Because when we talk about high pedigree guys. We talk about second round draft picks. Keanu Benton, did we not need him to play big? And he was one of the first dudes to get the sacks rolling, right? You saw how he was able to get in there, get some pressure and stuff like that, man. That looked good though, man. 2 QB hits along with, like I said, a sack in the TFL. Dude was balling. He had a day, man. We've been critical of him. I know I've been critical of him at various points in times because I want more consistency from him. I think he'd be dominant. But dude played well, man. PQ once again flying around. My LBs look good, man. I needed my LBs. This was the one though right here. Mr. Alex Highsmith. Whoo, baby. When you talk about a stat line, this is what you like to see. 4 tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 1 PBU, and a QB hit. That's how you stuff the stat sheet, baby. All right. When we're talking about pass rushers, outside linebackers having impact, that's what you want to see. High pedigree guy, though, right? We know we spent on him. You talk Cam Hayward. Cam had 4 tackles, but let's all be real. The 2 pass deflections in the game, man, Cam felt massive blocking them passes like that at the line of scrimmage. And it's like, yo, you might not win your pass rush every single time, but you can still impact the play. You can still get your hands up. And Cam, he does that, man. Cam was, man, you know Cam, though. Cam was going to be up for this game, though, regardless, man. Quentin Nelson was coming into town. Cam has a hard on for any young offensive lineman that think they like that. And he's been doing this since Quentin Nelson was a rookie, all right? So I was excited to see my dog looking good out there. TJ Watt, though, like we said, man, I needed a day. I needed him to be loud. 3 tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL. We obviously know he had the big QB hit on top of that. If this is where the pedigree is, if this is where the resources are, we need them to play the way that they played yesterday in order for us to continue on the way that we're going, man. But it's like, if we, in terms of the money, the way that we've allocated our resources, if we don't have this type of production from those guys on a consistent basis, it puts a lot of strain on the secondary. We know our secondary has been banged up. We know our secondary at some stages of it looks a little bit elderly out there. All right, I get it. But the pass rush, as you saw yesterday, can offset some of that. Whether you're playing man or zone, which we did a lot of, but it was still vanilla. It wasn't this overly complex, oh, they're running 30 different coverages. No. That wasn't that. But when your pass rush is moving the way that they were moving, both inside D tackles and our outside linebackers, and we're getting that type of splash production, you can have the mix of the guys that we've been playing on the back end, and it works. Now, will that work 3 weeks from now? Probably not. You're going to have to get even sharper with it, right? You're going to have to add little things to it, whether that's pre-snap disguises or if that's maybe adding an extra flavor post-snap, right? You got to continue to evolve. But when you're talking about having a Kyle Duggar who just got here, was it Wednesday, and he's starting. And then from there, you got Jalen Ramsey starting as safety who hadn't played as safety, and I don't even know when. It's like, yo, you got to make it where those guys can play fast. Those guys can be confident, but also it can't be too dumbed down that you're not fooling anybody, right? So it was that mix, but I thought that those 2 dudes on the back end did an excellent job, man. And shout out to Jalen Ramsey, man. When you talk about that veteran leadership, we obviously heard the reports about him speaking to the team on a Saturday night, and I love that. But it's like, man, to come back and it's like, yo, you're put in a tough position and play the way that he did, man. Tip of the cap to that dude, man. Absolutely tip of the cap to that dude. But that's what we needed, though, right? We can obviously look at the turnover element of it. We obviously won this part right here. Love when we get a chance to see this. 3 of them things, right? Peyton Wilson, Jack Sawyer, JPJ. We needed all 3 of them, right? Whenever you talk about how the game ends and you're like, oh, man, was this much points? Oh, it's like, yo, just let you know that every possession counts, man. Every possession counts. You can't take anything for granted. But what Peyton Wilson was able to do, I thought he was going to house that joint low key, man. But I'm like, yo, even though you ain't house it, you ball it out. I needed this, man. The other part, we talk about the fumbles, right? Turnovers matter for us. You listen to the coaching staff, you listen to the players' post-game interviews. All of them speak the exact same in terms of them talking about turnovers as something that they game plan for. They feel like, yo, that is something that we have to get. Not something that we think we can get. Not something that we hope to get. No, they talk about turnovers the same way they talk about sacks. We force these. They're not given to us. We go take them away. And to see that them do that, not just with the interceptions, but also right here in the fumble game, man. TJ Watt had a fumble recovery. Brandon Echols with a fumble recovery. Obviously, Derek Harmon had a fumble recovery. We're going to ignore this Roman Wilson fumble. All right. We're just going to act like we didn't see it. Okay. Act like we didn't see it. It was all good. Shout out to Roman. Okay. But no, in all seriousness, though, man, young players are, young players. Guys pressing, trying to make plays, man. Mistakes happen. It's unfortunate that it happened at that part. The thing that I will say was a benefit for Roman is we won the game. Otherwise, we would talk about him like Caleb Johnson. So shout out to Roman being a part of the victory and being able to learn from his experience with that, man. But yeah, man, when in doubt, listen to Ben Skronik. All right. But offensively, though, man, shout out to the guys on offense, though, especially my quarterback, man. Quarterback. I don't need much, man. Just don't turn it over. All right. Keep it clean. 25-35. He was clean. 10 misses. And we know one of them was a drop from the big dog. I need it. We know the other dog been dropping, but I'm like, yo, not you, not you, Darnell. You don't do that. I need them. I need every one of them. All right. But Rodgers was clean, man. Like I said, man, 25-35, 203, touchdown, no picks, though, man. And even though he took the sack, he had, I think 2 of the sacks were legit. The one, like, all right, bro, that was kind of all you. But as a whole, it was a good day from him. The flip side, you look at Daniel Jones, man. Indiana Jones had been playing really good all season long, right? To the point where even people were trying to throw his name in the MVP conversation. I was like, whoa, easy now. But 50 attempts from Daniel Jones, from my perspective, is still too much. Can he make the deep overthrow? Absolutely. Did he have some success throwing the deep overs and deep outs in this game? Heck yeah. Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman had their first 100-yard receiving games of this season versus us. Both of them did, right? It was like, holy smokes. So Daniel Jones still played well. He still had some good things, but the 3 picks, man, that'll kill you every time. 5 sacks. Shout out to our pass rush, man. That's the way that you offset the yardage part of it, right? Because obviously the yardage looks gaudy, but it's like, man, when we think about the flow of the game, and especially in that fourth quarter, 24-7, now we're playing the game of we'll trade time for yards. All right. You want these yards? Cool. You can have them. As long as that clock keep running, baby, we're not tripping on it. All right. So, like I said, that was my mindset with it, man. But to me, man, Rodgers continues to look good, man. Rodgers continues to be our best player, most consistent player as well, man. So you can just see the impact that he has, man, when he comes to the table, man. So let's keep it going. Hey, Ron, let's keep it going. Now, we could have been a lot better here. And even though I will say numbers wise, it was below the line, and we have to still find ways to be more consistent in terms of our rushing attack and more impactful on our rushing attack. I do like the fact that when we did decide to run the football at the goal line, Warren was able to punch it in. Not once, but twice. I do like that. I looked at that and I say, man, will we get better? Sure. Do we have to get better? Absolutely. And in a hurry, because it just puts a lot more strain on the offense, right? Now you become really one-dimensional out there, and it's just tough, especially with how we run our offense right now. We're not a 5-wide group. We're a 13 personnel, 12, 2 tight ends with the extra offensive lineman personnel, 1 receiver, DK Metcalf. So we don't have a lot of that in terms of just spray the ball around. It's run the ball, play action pass is how we open it up. And that's very similar to what the Colts like to do. But the Colts can run the ball, right? The Colts are one-dimensional. They could not run the rock yesterday, man. The same way we couldn't, but we benefited from the turnovers, 6 of them, right? To only 1 turnover from their perspective. But I'll take this trade-off. 16 for 31. Josh Dillon 14 for 45. I'll take that any day of the week. I'll take it any day of the week. 2 touchdowns a week. I'll take it any day of the week. All right. Because, you don't typically see that with this Colts rushing attack. All right. You definitely don't see that often, man. But I ain't tripping on it. I am not tripping on it. Okay. We'll take it. The receiving numbers should have been better, right? Should have been better. We left a good amount out there, man. I like the intentions to go to the tight ends. I thought at times, man, we were heavy on the tight end targets, but I see why we're still trying to operate like that, because those guys were getting open. Those guys did have opportunities. And if we're more consistent with the execution, that was something that Rodgers said. He said, man, the play calling wasn't the issue. He said he thought the play calling was really good. He thought Arthur Smith called a dope game. He said, we have to execute better. It's like, yo, we have to be better. We're watching dudes drop passes. He said himself he has to put them in better situations in terms of his passes at the offensive line, stuff like that. So it's like, dude, we get that. But even still, even with the nonsense, even with the receivers, not necessarily lighting it up all the way, we still found a way. and you still found a way to get points on the board, right? And shoot, man. Like I said, man, looking at my receivers, shout out to Calvin Law, shout out to Darnell Washington. He should have had a tutty in this thing, but I digress. But the one thing that I did really like, though, was right here. Let me make sure I pull up the right stat. Oh, nope, not that one. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Right here. Red zone efficiency, baby. All right. Even though our offense didn't dominate with these turnovers, we were 3 of 6 in the red zone, man. 3 touchdowns in the red zone, right? That adds up. That matters. That is how you get out of these games, man, when it still isn't necessarily going perfect for you. That was beautiful right there, man. And it's like, as long as we can continue to do that, find ways to score touchdowns while also creating 6 turnovers, well, maybe not 6 turnovers, but creating turnovers, keeping that a part of the conversation, that's going to help us out, man. But this is how we win right now. And it's not a bad thing. It's not something that you apologize for. But I could also understand why, some people have skepticism about, man, can we sustain this? It's week to week. Man. Some people ask questions about, can you sustain a heavy passing attack? Some people have questions about, can you sustain a heavy rushing attack? Our questions are, can we sustain a heavily defense-led team, right? Or defense-reliant team? Can we? It's like, yo, so far so good, right? 5-3 right now. 5-3, we'd have knocked off some teams that not a lot of people thought we should have knocked off, but then at the same time, we done took some L's where it was like, yo, that was a nasty L. This was a weird L. That was kind of, you took that L, right? So we're also in that phase of, are we really going to be able to keep this going? But when you're looking at the teams that we're doing it against, we talk about 5 turnovers against the Patriots. You look at the Patriots and what they've been doing since we played them. You talk about the Colts, 6 turnovers. They hadn't been turned the ball of all season, man. 6 of them things. This is versus one of the best teams in the AFC, heck, in the whole NFL. One of the hottest teams on top of that. And it's like, yo, you saw how we showed up. You saw how it worked against them. Heck, this O-line is probably the best offensive line we've seen all year. You saw what our defense was doing to them. You're like, bro, where has this been all season? But that's the part of the NFL when we're like, yo, it is literally week to week, man. The parity at this level, because everybody is so good. It's like, man, all it takes is 1 or 2 plays to go the wrong way for you, and the momentum swings, and now it's the snowball effect. But then it goes the other way as well, and we've seen how that feels. So when you got it rolling in your favor, man, you enjoy the heck out of that thing, man. You embrace it, all right? But the last thing that I will say, man, before, because I do see a couple supers coming in, and I know TG, like I said, man, he'll be jumping on with us in a few. This part right here, I really enjoyed, because last week we said, man, going into the fourth quarter, we had the lead versus the Packers, right? And they scored, was it 21, 24 points in that fourth one? And it was just like, yo, how the heck did this happen? How did it get there? So then we come back this week, and it's like, yo, 17-7, right? Third quarter, nothing's happening at all, but we get the first points in the fourth quarter to take it to 24-7. But I loved our finish, because last week, man, it was like, yo, 3 quarters, we had it exactly where we wanted it, and that fourth quarter got out of hand. And if you look at the Steelers this season, specifically when points have been scored, it's been a lot in the late parts of the game, fourth quarter of it, man. So to see us be able to finish versus this type of team, versus a team that can get it off running or throwing the football, that was impressive, man. Now, I do feel like we could have been able to score on them and move the ball, which we did at certain parts. It wasn't good enough, though. But defensively, man, find a way to hold that team. Was 13 points in the fourth quarter, man. Like, that is not easy to do, man. We talked about them. We say, yo, they don't waste possessions, man. They were one of those teams that when they got rolling, they roll. We saw that opening drive and how they moved, man. That was typically how they operate all season long. But shout out to the defense stepping up, man. Shout out to the players, man, making those plays. And shout out to the coaching staff putting those guys in position. But that's what you want to see, man. That is most definitely what you wanted to see right there, man. Like I said, I felt good about it. Hopefully y'all did as well. If you did, hit that like button one time for the culture, and subscribe if you do to the channel, baby. Because it's a Victory Monday, man. Y'all know I'm in here feeling good. I can't help myself, all right?